Hey Taurus, happy July 2018. This is Dark Dove Tarot. I hope you're doing fantastic. As you know, I pre-shuffle the cards, but I'm going to add a little more energy before we get started. Again, I hope you're doing wonderfully. This is for Taurus. Ooh, I'm spilling on my sweater, sorry. Taurus, July 2018. My reads are about singles, anybody looking for love, and anybody looking to reconcile. I keep talking about getting relationship reads out, but that's going to be a little difficult as I'm just running out of time, it feels like, consistently. So, Taurus, again, this is your July 2018. Love, singles, and anybody looking to reconcile. It is a general read, so make sure you always check your sun, moon, and rising, as some months those may resonate with you more than others. All right, so again, general read. Check your sun, moon, and rising. Sometimes they add a little more for clarification, etc. Any likes, subscribes, comments, etc. are greatly appreciated. I always like to know how you guys feel about the videos. If you want a private read, the information is in the description. I'm keeping these pretty close to 20 or 25 minutes just because, whoa. I'm gonna take all these. I had about, oh, hold on, another one on the floor. Like I said, I'm keeping them a little shorter because it's easier to get everybody's out if I keep them at a shorter length. So, Taurus, forgive me, last month you guys were left out. I had left town for Memorial Day and it got insane. And I was doing reads until like the 3rd or 4th of the month. And then I get to a certain point and I'm like, okay, but the energy may be better if I just wait until the next month. I try not to do that at all, but it does happen. Oops. So I apologize. All right, we've had some pretty good, interesting readings as of late. So I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot that I've been using for the spread, but then oh, there's your last card, fell on the floor. But then I'm using the 8-coin tattoo tarot. I really wanted to use this deck for the reads, and I did the first read for Cancer this month with this deck, but it's so, the borders are so bright that they literally were leaving like a glare, almost like a reflection on the screen. I don't know. I might change it up and see if I can find a different table. Whoa, that's way too many. A different table or a different cloth or something, because they're really great cards. They're awesome. I just found them and I really, really like them. But like I said, there's quite a bit of a glare on the screen with them. Gosh. All right, this card really wants to come out, so we're going to take that. All right, so 2 of Swords. So decisions. So Taurus, this definitely says there's some major decisions that need to be made. If you're single, you may be choosing between 2 people. You may be choosing on whether you want to date or not date. Because the 2 of Swords energy is definitely something that you're kind of at a crosshairs with. You're not quite sure what you want to do. And but the power is in your hands. Like, this is saying, look, there's a duality here, a choice, something definitely you need to make a decision on something. So for some of you, I think it's whether you want to date again, but for the majority of you, I think you might be dating a few people. It might be time to cut some of the energy out. Maybe you're dating somebody and they're just not, like, you want at least a committed dating relationship and they can't even give you that. So I feel like you're making a choice this month to cut some people out. Again, you may be choosing between 1 or 2 people and feeling like, okay, now's the time to make a decision because one of them might be really good. And if you haven't met anybody, the choice is going to be yours coming up pretty soon. So your theme of the month, again, 2 of Swords. If you're looking to reconcile, this is kind of like telling me that this month is the month. Like, you need to make a decision sooner than later, because if you don't, you're going to be at a stalemate. So whether you're in communication with them or not, this is something inside of you, Taurus, saying, hey, I need to make a decision here. This is a duality. It's been bothering me, been going back and forth on it. I'm tired of it. I want to cut the crap. Either you want to be with me, you don't want to be with me. Either I want to be with you, I don't want to be with you. But it feels like this is the month to make the decision happen. The next card you have is your current position coming into the month, and you have the 4 of Cups. This has been showing up a lot lately, actually. So the 4 of Cups energy it's like an apathy. It's a waste. It's taking for granted. So some of you may feel like you've been taken for granted. If you're single, that may be why you're deciding whether you want to date or not. But again, I feel like it's more, there's 2 or 3 people you've been dating, and you know that like 1 or 2 of them are not good for you. Because this is you going, I thought you said that you were interested in something long term, but you're giving off the vibe that you're not. And I feel like this is you really taking a good look at who's being genuine, who's being honest with you versus who's not. Because the 4 of Cups, again, is about wasting somebody's time, and I feel like it's your time that's wasted or taking for granted. So I feel like, Taurus, like, somebody is BSing you. They're telling you, oh yeah, I'm going to get off the dating site soon. It'll just be me and you. And it's not really happening. And you're like, okay, the ship is sailing. I think I'm ready to be done here. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, you also feel like you're wasting your time or you're being taken for granted. If there's communication here, it feels like they're telling you what they think that you want to hear, but the actions are not speaking the same, like the actions are not showing the same as the words they're speaking. Because this is saying that you're kind of like, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna deal with this crap anymore. I've been waiting. I've been communicating. And if you're not in communication, you've been waiting for them to, I feel like somebody put you on hold. Like they were like, well, I need time, or I need to figure things out, or whatever. And you're just kind of like, what is going on? And then if they have come back and you are communicating, you feel like they're just BSing you anyway. So it definitely feels like the energy coming into the month is very estranged. But that's okay, because that's just, the tip of the iceberg. Let's see what else is going on. The next card you have is how you're feeling coming into the month, and you have the Chariot. Now, the Chariot represents Cancer, so you may be dealing with a Cancer or a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. The Chariot is very direct. Now, again, this is how you're feeling coming into the month. So this tells me if you're single, you want somebody to take that path with you. You want somebody to move forward with. The Chariot is all about self-identification. It's about understanding where you're going. If you're going one direction and the people you're meeting are going in a whole different direction, it's not going to work out, because the Chariot's just going to stand still. It doesn't move unless 2 people are going in the same direction. This is also about, self-control and balance, which is very interesting because this card is about duality and this card is about duality. So it feels like, Taurus, you're just looking for your other half. You're just looking for somebody to come in who does want the same things for you. All you want is somebody who has the same interests. Whether your idea of the future is dating somebody exclusive or falling in love, having babies, and, getting married, whatever it is to you that you want, the Chariot is saying, look, there's a possibility as long as you're picking the right people. So it feels like you maybe have not necessarily picked the right people, or around certain people who waste your time. If you're single, they may be, oh, they're sexy or hot, or, and you're thinking, oh, they're great, and they're telling you everything under the sun, but you're starting to realize, like, I'm the one who needs to have self-control here. I'm the one who needs to balance this out. They're not being legit. So again, if you're dating, you're definitely making some choices and cutting some things out, some people out, because they're not on the same path as you, and you realize it. Like, it may be fun and flirty and having a good time, but it's not going to end up going in the direction you want. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, it's very similar. You guys have not gone on the same path for a long time. Maybe they wanted to move in and you didn't. Maybe, you want kids and they don't. Whatever it is to you, the Chariot is saying, look, unless we can get on the same page here, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay stagnant and stale, because the Chariot is about running off into the distance together, looking for the same path. Now, being completely the same is boring, obviously, so you need to have different ideas, different likes, etc. But if you want to go get married and they're like, I never want to get married, obviously you're not moving congruently in the same direction. The next card you have is your distant past, or the past 5-10 years. It could be in your childhood. I always read this together for anybody who's single or looking to reconcile, because, generally it's not the person you're looking for. The past is very important to bring up each month, because it reminds you of times that were really good and healthy to bring back into your life, or it reminds you of negative patterns that you want to stay away from. Now, you have the 6 of Swords here, and the 6 of Swords is about leaving, abandonment. So some of you were abandoned as children. Some of you witnessed another parent being abandoned, and therefore it maybe gave you abandonment issues. A dad leaving a mom leaving a dad. Typically for somebody else, but not necessarily. It could be that you had some sort of abandonment issue when somebody died who was close to you, a parent or a grandparent. But this is definitely witnessing somebody who's leaving a situation, retreating, and not, I mean, sometimes this card can represent vacation, but that's not what this is. This is complete abandonment. It could be your marriage, it could be whatever it is to you. Some of you Tauruses have experienced some major, somebody just taking off, ghosting you, leaving you, unanswered questions. And so there's trust issues here that you're dealing with. And, you know, frankly, you're kind of almost like dealing with the wrong people, especially if you're single, because you're worried. Maybe that they'll repeat the pattern. It's almost like if somebody is on the same path as you, it scares you worse than somebody who's kind of feeding you a line of BS. Because if somebody really is with you in the same direction, even if you're looking to reconcile, it's almost scary because you've put work and time and effort into past relationships, and either somebody abandoned it, or again, you watched a parent or somebody go through a really hard time when somebody left them, and you've just kind of decided, I'm not going to be that person. You know, nobody's going to leave me like that. I need open communication. I need to see things clearly. The next card you have is your immediate past over the past, you know, few weeks, past month or two, and you have the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is almost about self-imprisoning to a certain extent, but the Seven of Swords is not feeling 100% in decisions you're making and decisions people around you are making. So if you are dating, this is definitely saying there has been, you know, some deception around you. There's been some, you know, strategy, manipulation, and you've decided, I'd rather be alone than to deal with these people. But what's interesting is there's somebody here who has been, not, yes, they are or have deceived you to a certain extent. They're really nice, they're really charming, but they're not telling you the whole truth, the whole picture. And you know that. You know that they might not be a good idea for you. That's where you're trying to make some decisions this month. But again, this right here is, you've met people who've been downright, you know, deceptive, people who've manipulated, and I still feel like you've dealt with that energy quite a bit recently. You've just been kind of like, this person says they like me, they say that they want to see more of me, but they text me like once a week, and that's not the progression I thought that we were moving on. That's not. And so this is almost you strategizing in, okay, how do I get rid of this negative energy and start over? How do I let all of that go and start anew? Because it's almost like you're doing it to yourself, because you know, you can feel when people aren't being genuine. You can feel when it's not a good fit for you. But it's almost like you'd rather have somebody now and just stick with it and wait until somebody better comes along. And that's not always a good place to be. Sometimes you have to shut that door, you know, to open a window. If you're looking to reconcile, there is some major deception. Somebody's not being honest with you. You know it. You know that either you need to cut ties. You guys just are not moving in the same direction at all. You're being taken advantage of. There's this waste of time. Like, they're wasting your time. They're planning on probably going in an opposite direction, and they are manipulating. They may be telling you, oh, we're going to get back together, and I just need time. Either that, or they're not even talking to you. They're already planning their next move, and you've had no answers. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the past, distant future is future, not past. So over the next month or two throughout August, September, and you have the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is somebody who's working extremely hard. Now, if you're single, this definitely tells me that you're going to up your game as far as your dating life. Like, you're going to change things up. You're going to really pay more attention to you, pay more attention to what's important to you, because this is about being responsible and pragmatic, but also having aspirations. So this is saying you're still aspiring to find somebody amazing, but you need to cut loose whatever this energy is. Whoever's telling you, hey, yes, I want to be with you, but like you're really a booty call, or whoever's telling you, hey, I think you're amazing, but they're not quite going in the steps that you want to go towards, you have a new strategy at hand. You're going to make some decisions this month, and you might enjoy hanging out with a friend who's like a friend with benefits or whatever, and that's fine. But in the end, that's not what you want. Whether you want to date somebody, you know, just committed for the rest of your life, again, like I said, or have babies and a house with a picket fence, whatever your goal is, the page is saying, I'm still going to aspire to that, but now I've got to be realistic. If I'm hanging out with these energies that are not going to get me where I want to go, and I'm putting out into the universe that it's okay, you can treat me like this, or it's okay, I'll accept this for now, you're not going to get what you want. So the page is saying over the next month or two, you're changing that whole dynamic. You're going to work really hard. You're going to be like more pragmatic about your dating style and who you choose to allow into your life. But at the same time, still aspire to, find what it is you're looking for. You're not losing faith. You're not losing hope. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this says that you're going to be throwing your time and energy more than likely into work, into something else. You're looking at this going, it's almost a responsibility that you cut this energy out. And I hate to say that, but that's what's coming out here, is that this may not be the best fit for you. And you understand that. And it feels like a responsibility. Like they have put you through the ringer. They're not healthy for you. When you're with them, maybe bad choices have been made. But it definitely says you need to aspire to be better than, than what you're accepting or what you're allowing to happen in your life. And this is definitely an earth sign energy. So this is almost saying, Taurus, you're coming back around to yourself, because you have all these different energies. You have the swords, which are air, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. And then you have Cancer showing up here, plus the cup sign, which is water, Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But here in the next few months, you're actually being yourself. So I feel like that's really important. The next card you have is your immediate future. So for the next few weeks, next month or so. And you have the Lovers, which is Gemini, which is also an air energy. So you might be dealing with a Gemini or an air energy. Okay, now, I think that this ties well if you're single with what I'm talking about. I think that there's a love energy here, and you may be making a choice between 2 or 3 people. And I think that's what's going to kick it into overdrive for you to make this choice, is because somebody's taking for granted, or somebody's telling you something they think that they think you want to hear, but they're not being legit. And the Lovers is saying, look, like, go for it, have fun, enjoy this. It's very interesting. You've gotten these duality cards, duality. This is all about 2 people coming together. So this is saying that you might have a choice to make, and just make sure you're going with what's going to give you the whole package, because the Lovers can be more of a lustful card, so it can deal more with a passion or a romance, but not necessarily like a twin flame connection or energy. So this tells me if you're single, you may have an opportunity to find something truly amazing in love, or you may just have a lot of romance, but you've got to be careful that make sure you're being pragmatic about it, and you're not being sucked into an energy of, they're telling you again, there's a lot of energy here that's stuck in somebody's not necessarily being clear with you, and then there may be somebody who really is, and that's where the choice comes in. If you're looking to reconcile, be careful that you don't get caught up in the lust energy either, because this is saying you may make a decision and, you may feel like you're wasting your time. You may feel like they're deceiving you, but they keep getting the edge on you to a certain extent, because they're going to come around and be like, I miss you, I love you, you're wonderful. They're going to charm the socks off of you, but it may deflate. So just be careful with this. The next card you have is anything tangible throughout the month. So a situation that may arise, could be the beginning, middle, end, etc. And you have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is actually really nice energy. The Ace of Wands is a motherly, nurturing, it could be fatherly, motherly, nurturing energy. This is about being creative. It's having passion, enthusiasm. This is like feeling like a new gained sense of spirit. And I feel like if you're single, and actually if you're looking to reconcile, this is kind of what you need. This is the first fire card that you've gotten, and this is where the energy builds. This is where the confidence comes. So if you're single, I think you're going to cut out whatever riffraff hasn't been working for you. You're going to meet this Lovers card, this person, and they're not going to be the deceptive, strategizing person that you have been dealing with. And then all of a sudden you're going to realize, like, you're being practical. This is a little more responsible of a relationship, if that makes sense. Now, the Ace of Wands, again, is that passion, energy, enthusiasm that I think this person's going to bring out in you, or you're going to bring out in them, or you're just going to feel overall at some point during the month. If you're looking to reconcile, this tells me that some of you may have kids with this person, or you guys had like a joint family where you both had your own kids. And so there may be some sort of joining of, like the kids kind of pushing you in the direction of having this conversation. Now, I feel like there's been a lot of deception. There's been a lot of, there's been a lot of not good energy taken for granted. However, here it says that there may be something that happens that comes into play that gives you a boost of confidence and thinking that maybe you guys could have something practical. Excuse me, Taurus, I was thinking, you know, pretty much all was lost when I'm seeing this. But seeing this, there's some glimmer of hope. And I'm not going to lie, somebody could be pregnant, or, you know, maybe you guys wanted kids and now you're both on the same page here. Again, that's all you want, is to be on the same page. But it feels like you've been waiting for a while, and that's why you're like, look, you may just be giving an ultimatum and saying, hey, you know, shit or get off the pot, basically. I'm not dealing with this. And you have the Page of Pentacles. Again, it's pragmatic, it's responsible, but it's also aspiring. So there is a good chance you guys come back together. Just be careful, because it's like this manipulation and this taking for granted. You got to make sure that they're not still in that mindset, or that there's some way you can figure out whether they're being sincere or not. The next card you have is anything you're going to feel. See, it's like you're all over the place, Taurus. Anything you're going to feel throughout the month of July, and you have the Eight of Swords, which is self-imprisonment. This is you who could easily go back in the room, go out the door, walk down the stairs, and go out of the house. But instead, she's sitting here going, oh, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall, and she's not going to fall. This is confusion. This is self-imprisoning yourself in a situation. So if you're single, I feel like you are confused. You're kind of going, well, he or she's telling me this, that, or the other, and I totally believe them, but now I'm not sure what to think. So you're going to have these moments of bliss where you think, oh, man, they're amazing. This person's incredible. I'd love to, you know, spend more time with them. And then all of a sudden something turns. So you've got to decide, is it turning, is it really turning, like legitimately turning, or is it inside your head, making you feel that energy? Because again, the Eight of Swords is self-imprisonment, self-doubt, confusion, you know, it's trying to control a situation you can't. So if you're single, you've really got to weed some stuff out, because I feel like some of you are kind of like taking what you can get type energy, because you think that eventually this person is going to turn around and be like, oh, you're the person I've wanted this whole time. And yet there's somebody else like laying in wait who can build up this confidence and this energy, but you're like imprisoning yourself in this energy that's not good for you. So I really feel like if you're dating, you're going to meet somebody, or you've already met somebody, and there's going to be like two people or two energies here that you're going to have to decide what you want to do with. If you're looking to reconcile, it's very similar. You have the power to cut this off or to continue. But in order to continue, you need this mindset. You need the confidence. You guys need to be on the same page. If that's not happening, then you need to cut it off. You need to make this choice and decide to cut it off. Because if it's not happening, you're allowing it to continue. After a while, there's nobody else to blame but you if it's not working for you. If it is, and they're coming in like this, and the energy is positive, and you really think that something could aspire from this, then make a decision and stop the crap and have a conversation with them and commit to trying to rebuild something. Feels like Taurus reconciliation is now like 50-50. Now, your hopes and fears for the outcome of the month is the Sun, which I love. This is seeing things clearly. This is hope. This is aspiring. This is self-awareness, self-esteem. So if you're single, you're definitely building on this fire energy. You're definitely building into this, I can see clearly what I want. I really strongly feel like you need to cut out somebody. There's somebody here who's straggling, somebody who maybe comes back and forth to you on a regular basis, and the Sun is saying that eventually you're going to figure out that you can see clearly, and you can weed out the BS and let go of it, and let go of the imprisonment and move on to something that's practical, something that actually is love. The Sun is saying there's still hope, there's still inspiration here, and at some point you're going to find that hope and inspiration throughout the month of July. If you're looking to reconcile, I still feel now that it's 50-50. Before I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. But this is saying you can see things clearly too. You're going to make the best decision based on your own individual decision. You're either going to, take the reins and say, okay, this is how we get back to here, and let's do this together, and let's be, practical about it. Or you're going to say, hey, I see this manipulation and strategy isn't going anywhere, and I need to cut ties. The next card you have is the outcome of the month. Oh, see? And it's not getting any, there's no more, it's not. So sevens are a number here for you for whatever reason. And you may, 777. So 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 days. But you have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is weighing pros and cons. This is assessing a situation and making a decision. If you're single, you definitely have some decisions to make. There are definitely more than one people involved here. There's definitely, because this is saying, okay, if I go with this person, here's the risk I take. If I go with this person, here's the risk. What's the reward? What's the payoff? I really feel like if you're single, if you haven't met them yet, you're going to be meeting one or two people and you're going to have to make a decision. And I think like in my head, it would be easy, and other people looking from the outside in, but in your head, you're really conflicted on it, even though somebody has shown you their true colors as not being a good candidate, and somebody else has shown you their colors of being a really positive vibe for you. If you're looking to reconcile, I don't even know. I'm thinking this is saying, hey, you need to make a decision this month. You're going to make a decision this month, but it seems like at the end of the month, you're still going to be trying to make that decision, because all we have here is you trying to make some sort of decision on, what's going on. Because the Seven of Pentacles is like literally you going, I wonder what's going to be, the best decision here, and weighing all, that fell on the floor, and weighing all of the scenarios in your head. So if you're looking to reconcile, I think you still may struggle, going back and forth, back and forth. Now, isn't this interesting? You have your clarifying card for the outcome is the Chariot. So you have two chariots here. So you're definitely dealing with a Cancer or water sign, most of you. I also think there's a lot of air sign here, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. But you're either dealing with a Cancer or you're dealing with a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The Chariot speaks it all. The fact that you got two chariots here is saying, look, if you're single, you have a decision to make. You have a path that you want to go down. And either somebody's going to go down that path with you or they're not. And if they're not, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing? This is you identifying what you want and what you need. This is a complete self-identification. This is being self-aware. This is knowing where you're going. And then you can invite somebody to come along on the ride with you. But you shouldn't feel trapped or imprisoned by people who don't take you seriously and who tell you, yeah, I want the same things you do, but they're not showing you that they do. If you're looking to reconcile, this is what you need to focus on. It's a big decision, and for some of you, it was a big commitment, and I get that. And there's a big connection, but the Chariot is saying, look, if you guys are not still going down the same path, you need to cut it off, because you will never get down, you will never be on the same path. If you guys can come to a compromised path, somewhere that you can move forward that benefits you both and makes you both feel good, then you could be on the right track. Now you have the Knight of Pentacles crowning your distant future, and you go from the Page to the Knight. The Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's very strong. They know what they want. They're not willing to, sacrifice anything. They're very methodical, cautious, dutiful, hardworking. So this says, if you're single, I really feel like you're going to make a choice that's going to be very practical and it's going to be very good for you. But you're going to be very cautious about it and very dutiful. I feel like you're going to almost switch a little bit because you've been dealing with somebody or a few people who are telling you, again, all the charms and turning on all this, breaking out all the stops for you. And this is you assessing the situation and going, what is going to work for me long term? What is going to be acceptable? Where am I going? What am I looking for in life? And you have the Knight of Pentacles, which says you're going to have to make that decision. You're the one who is going to have to decide, what path you're going down, and then finally decide who can come along on that ride with you. If you're looking to reconcile, this is methodical and moving cautious. So if you decide to give them another chance and you really think you guys are moving on the same path, you will do it very slowly and you will do it very carefully. If you don't, then you're going to be very methodical in moving the opposite direction and taking yourself out of this self-imprisoned situation. So Taurus, this is kind of all over the place, just for fun. I want to pull one more card because, it's like you guys just can't make up your minds. You're all over the place. Okay. And then you have the Five of Wands. I don't know if I should have pulled another card because the Five of Wands is about getting your priorities straight, but it's chaos. It's controlled chaos, but it's chaos. The Five of Wands is about chaos, priorities, and competition. So if you're single, There may be some competition for you, or you're competing for somebody else's attention. Again, going along with maybe this person saying, hey, I really like you, I see something here, and then you hear from them like once in a blue moon. But this is about keeping your priorities, keeping yourself together when everything else is going on around you. And same if you're looking to reconcile. It's like you cannot freaking figure out which direction you're going in, and nobody can do that for you, Taurus. You're going to have to figure it out. But I really think the Chariot plays such a big role in that, because this is saying, if you guys cannot see eye to eye, it is not going to work. Stop trying to push it. All right, Taurus, I hope you have a great month. See you next month.